Hello everyone, welcome to my studio. I'm going to be teaching you today basic beat matching. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start out with 2 copies of the same record. We're going to be using Hybrid's Sarah McLachlan I Love You remix. I'm a big fan of Sarah McLachlan, so that's just why I chose that track. You can choose whatever 2 records you want. And you're going to need 2 turntables and at least a 2-channel mixer. This is a 4-channel mixer just because there's times when I use 2 turntables and 2 CD decks simultaneously. But, you know, as long as you have 2 turntables and a 2-channel mixer, you know, you'll be good to go. So, what we're going to do first, put your 2 records on the turntables. I've already done this previously before we started the video. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your record is on the first beat of the record, like this. So there's the first beat of the record. Let's go ahead and check the other record, make sure that it's on the first beat. So there we go. We know that both of our records are at the beginning, ready to go, ready to mix. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start this record. Make sure that your pitch adjust here on your turntable, which is located by your tone arm, is set to 0 because we really don't want to bury the speed at this point because our records are running at the same beats per minute. There's no variation there. So there's no real need for us to really have to touch that in this demonstration. So now that we know that, now we're going to go over to our other turntable. And we're going to do what's called rocking the record. We're going to rock it and beat with the other record. So basically that means we're going to move the record back and forth on that first beat until we feel that we have the rhythm of the track. And once we're comfortable, we're going to drop it. We're not going to worry about phrasing or anything like that right now. We're just going to worry about making sure that it's in sync with the other record. So let's do that now. So hear me rocking the record right now. Now you hear that I'm rocking it in time with the other record right now. And when I feel confident that it's in time, you hear that 2 at a time. Not a problem. Go back and act like that. Now a lot of times, like what you're hearing me do right now, you wouldn't do with the fader up like what I'm doing right now. You would normally do that in your headphones. Very, very important because you don't want people to hear you cueing the next record. You want to do that in the headphones and then just hear that a new track comes in. Not that all of a sudden like you're like cueing it up and you're trying to get it in time, because you're going to throw people off and they're going to have a hard time dancing to that. So, but for this demonstration, you'll want to hear that. So, once again, here we are. So, there we are at the beginning of the beat again. Start. So we're rocking and timing. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it here. So, as you can hear, the 2 are running in time with each other or in sync with each other. You can't really hear the difference between the 2 tracks. But if I cut the crossfader over to this side here, you'll hear the part of the track with the vocals. And when I cut it over to this track over here, you'll hear that it's in the part of the track that has no lyrics. So, but when you cut it back into the center, it sounds like one track, which is the main goal when you're DJing. You want to even make the 2 songs sound like they're one song, so that the crowd doesn't hear that you're playing 2 songs. They just hear things in a different way than what they're used to hearing. So, once again, just remember, in order to really do this effectively, you gotta have headphones, because if you can't preview it through the cue section, then you're gonna have a really, really hard time doing this. So, headphones, 2 copies of the same record, and then just make sure that you have good needles, nice and clean, because if they're dirty, they're going to skip and slide across the record, and that's going to make your records get out of time because it'll be what's called skating across grooves. And that's about it. That's the basics of beat matching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned from it. Thank you very much. Catch you later.